your forecast first. Sponsored by Natex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Hey there, thanks for joining us here this evening on what has been actually a fairly nice Tuesday for many of us. The exception may be closer to I-70. You've had more cloud cover, maybe down near Effingham and Shelbyville, and up near Champaign, though. Watseka, Danville, Bloomington, you guys have all seen a lot of sunshine, and as a result, temperatures better still into the 60s here in Champaign, but a cooler 56 in Effingham as a result of that cloud cover. That's Neil Street. That's our evening planner that shows our temperatures not as cold as this morning. We had 30s out there and some frost. Don't have to worry about that tonight, but we do have to worry about thunderstorms returning. When severe weather's possible. I'll share it with you. Coming up, WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now on WCIA 3 News.
Should the race to reopen Illinois be a marathon or a sprint? Why some downstate Democrats pressured Governor Pritzker to pick up the pace.
The lawsuits are starting to pile up. Who's now taking the governor to court over the stay-at-home order?
We've actually heard from a number of hospitals and health systems from other countries.
It was created at the U of I, what's now being mass-produced to help fight COVID-19.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 6.
Soon enough, regions across the state will have the ability to move into phase 3.
Governor Pritzker defended his plan to slowly reopen regions of the state in 28-day phases. Good evening. I'm Jennifer Roscoe. Several downstate restaurants and local governments continue to defy the governor's orders or plan to challenge them in court. Our Capitol Bureau Chief Mark Maxwell is live in Springfield tonight. So, Mark, Republicans and business groups have pressured the governor to think about moving through these phases faster.
And Jennifer, tonight, 6 downstate Democrats, 4 in the House, 2 in the Senate, joined ranks with many of these House and Senate Republicans and business groups, calling on Governor Pritzker to reopen the Metro East region at the very least by May 15th, which is 2 weeks after the governor entered all 4 regions of Illinois into this phase 2 where we are now. Senate Republican leader Bill Brady also said we should use the federal government plan, Dr. Fauci's 14-day plan, to start graduating through those phases. But the governor's plan of 28 days would actually expire if we measured a decline or if we remained stable over that 2-week plan. We talked to Senate Republican leader Bill Brady earlier today.
Both Dr. Fauci's plan and the governor's plan call for safeguards that if something happens that's negative, we can retract a bit and put those safeguards in place. So,
if we had followed the guidelines that were set in the White House plan and that have been adopted in some other states and required a downward movement of all those numbers, we might not be reopening some parts of the state, any parts of the state really, until perhaps the middle of June or later.
The governor there making the case that because he doesn't require the downward decline, and if things stay stable for 28 days, we might actually reach that benchmark sooner. Who's to say for sure? So should that race to reopen be a marathon or a sprint? Well, Governor Pritzker says he doesn't have an opinion so long as we don't pull our hamstring on the race to the finish line or turn around and go backwards. One surefire way to decline or to go backwards in these phases is if we see a big outbreak. Today, there's some evidence that could be happening, perhaps in Wayne County, where a restaurant last week already started opening to seat 50% capacity. I called just a few moments ago, the dining room there full of people, and today Wayne County reported its biggest overnight spike in coronavirus cases, jumping from 3 over the last 2 months to 5, to a total of 8, adding 5 additional cases there. Governor Pritzker also weighing his options. In Pennsylvania, the governor there threatening to withhold federal funding from local counties if they defy the governor's order there. Today, Governor Pritzker said he's considering that here, too. He doesn't want to go that route, but he's open to it. Jennifer?
All right, Mark, thank you so much. This is a follow-up. It's not only lawmakers who are suing the governor now. A couple of business owners are joining in. WCIA 3's Cole Hankey spoke to one of them from Northwest Illinois today.
Kevin Promenschenkel owns Poopy's Pub and Grub in Savannah, Illinois. His biker bar thrives during the summer months, but because of the stay-at-home order, his business has been cut. Now he's suing the governor to try and reopen his business.
I would love to obviously be open like normal, but I'm able to social distance here at Poopy pretty easily. We have a pretty huge facility, indoors and out.
They're using the same lawyer that both Representative Darren Bailey and John Cabello are using for their suits. The court filings all challenge the governor's ability to file consecutive 30-day emergency orders. But Promenschenkel just wants to see his business up and running again.
I'm a seasonal business. I've got 4 to 5 months to make all my money. That's when we make it. We are a tourist spot. We're Illinois' biggest biker destination. So with that being said, I miss that 4 to 5 months. I'm not going to make it through winter.
In his press conference Tuesday, Governor Pritzker said that people need to be careful when thinking about violating the emergency order.
The vast majority of those counties and individuals, those business owners, are not talking to epidemiologists. They're not talking to scientists. In fact, they're not relying on science in any way whatsoever to make their decisions.
Reporting in Springfield, I'm Cole Hankey, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
A judge in Clay County ruled in favor of Representative Darren Bailey's similar lawsuit, but Bailey asked the judge to lift the temporary restraining order that the judge issued. It protected Bailey from the stay-at-home order. No action has been taken in the new case yet. Champaign County is reporting its youngest death so far from COVID-19. It was a woman in her 40s who did have underlying health conditions. That now makes 7 in the county. There were also 10 new cases. That puts the county over the 300 mark with 308. There were around 4,000 new cases of COVID-19 in the state. That's a big jump, and that's because there was a record number of tests, 24,000. We are now at about 83,000 total. 144 more people died. That makes around 3,600 deaths in Illinois. Health officials are trying to keep coronavirus from spreading at a nursing home, this time in Charleston. 21 people have tested positive at Charleston Rehab and Healthcare. 1 person has died. As of Tuesday, they had 16 more confirmed cases in the county. That brings the total to 62. The health department wouldn't say how many of the additional cases were linked to the home. An update now on the U of I researchers developing an emergency ventilator. Today they announced a company is going to start producing them. It's been a month and a half since the Illinois Rapid Vent was introduced. Now the design is one step closer to being used to save lives. It'll be called the Flex Vent. Engineers at the U of I and Carl Doctors are partnering with Belkin to produce it.
We've actually heard from a number of hospitals and health systems from other countries where they have a different situation with healthcare, and that a low-cost, easily used, disposable ventilator actually has a lot of utility. So we're really excited to see that this thing could have application beyond the COVID crisis.
The college says they made the designs available for free, and they hope the FDA will start to approve them to start production in the next few weeks. There's a new place in Coles County for you to find out if you have COVID-19. Sarah Bush Lincoln Health Center is offering drive-through testing. WCIA 3's Jamie Mays has more.
That's really what this is about, is increasing the testing numbers to determine how rampant this is in the community.
As of Monday, Sarah Bush Lincoln Health System started offering drive-through testing to do just that.
The advantages of the testing site is that this site does not require a physician's order, and patients can pre-register and come essentially when they want.
While the health center is focused on getting essential workers tested, they say they won't turn someone down. The process takes just under 3 minutes from start to finish. You should call to schedule an appointment first, and results are usually back within 24 hours. As of Tuesday morning, Sarah Bush Lincoln Hospital has tested about 140 people using their drive-through testing. With this new system, they're able to test people who have symptoms and others.
We can test asymptomatic patients without a physician's order.
Sarah Bush Lincoln is also helping test people at Charleston Rehab and Healthcare, where more than 20 people have already tested positive and 1 has died.
And we conducted testing through our respiratory clinic, our community drive-through clinic yesterday, and we also did do some testing there on site at Charleston Rehab.
With more testing, healthcare officials say they are hoping to get a better understanding of how widespread COVID-19 truly is. In Coles County, Jamie Mays, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Sarah Bush Lincoln says the cost for testing is $95, but in most cases, there is no out-of-pocket cost for the patient. Where do foster parents go when they need help? The state now has a map to find those resources. Also tonight, unemployment is at an all-time high. But is everybody getting what they need?
And outside, we got what we needed today, and that was the sunshine to return, and it was nice. Now, our temperatures there, well, they struggled a little bit there. Actually, you know what? That almanac number is not right. It wasn't 51 today. We at least made it to the 60s. I'll have to double check this. I know. I was like, wait a second. That number ain't right. All right. Rain returns. Let's talk about the severe weather threat when things warm back up. Coming up.